So I'm going to be honest. When I first moved to the UK in 2007, I found black people. I found British-born black people, or black people who had lived in the UK for a very long time. I found them to be oversensitive. I found them to be angry all the time. I found them to overreact. I found that they were easily offended. And I used to say that, you guys need to chill. You guys need to calm down. I even had white friends who found me to be okay. They used to say, oh, EJ is okay. She doesn't easily get offended. Oh, EJ is okay. She can take a joke. And they would relate with me on the basis that, I'm a black person who doesn't mind, Fast forward 10, 11 years later, and I find that fellow black people, just like me back in the day, are telling me to calm down, telling me that I am easily offended, telling me that, I'm angry all the time and oversensitive, and basically calling me out and devaluing my experiences. I can't get too angry because I did the same thing when I first moved to the UK. Why I'm doing this video is because, you see, I've lived both. I lived in Nigeria and I now live in the UK. And when I lived in Nigeria, the color of my skin was never an issue. Never, ever an issue. So when I came into this country and every black person was going on and on and on about how everything was happening to them because they were black, I just didn't get it. But then when you've been here long enough and somebody's prodding and prodding and prodding at you, or they're just taking from you chip by chip by chip, a lot of times it's very subtle. It's not every time it's in your face. It's hardly ever always in your face. It's mostly subtle to the point that if you react, if you say anything, it can be seen that you are overreacting. So what I'm saying is racism still happens. Today, racism still happens. I can give you so many examples, and these examples, if I give them to you, individually, you could think, oh no, come on, that's not racism, that's just, people being people, or whatever people say these days. But then when you look at my raft of experience, then you will realize actually there is a theme here, there is a pattern. What I'm trying to say is, do not be the one. So fellow black people who live in black countries, do not be the one to tell another black person that they are overreacting. Do not be the one to tell a fellow black person that they're being oversensitive, or that racism doesn't exist, or that it's not as bad as they think, or that they're over-analyzing things. Trust me, because you have not experienced it, you cannot understand it. Especially on social media. If I share something that I believe to be racist, I share something that I say, this hurts me because this speaks to my experience, this sort of adds to the way I'm feeling in terms of my race. You black man or woman who has never experienced racism because you live in a country where you are not the minority and where the color of your skin is not an issue, please don't be the one to try calling me out in public. Don't be the one to make the people who are actually racist say, oh look, other black people don't mind. Because those other black people are people who live, for instance in my case, in Nigeria. Unless they've been here to experience it, they don't know what racism is, because people assume racism is in your face all the time when it happens, or that it's something that physically harms you, or somebody shouting the N-word in your face. No, it's not. Most of the time, it is subtle. It's a very clever thing that people do when they're racist against you and you can't react, because if you react, you will be overreacting. Instead, when you see somebody saying that I feel that that situation was racist, or I feel that that situation was racist towards me, maybe send them a private message, try and see where they're coming from or why they feel that that situation is as they say it is. Try doing that before you call them out in public, because until you've been through it, you don't understand. You really don't. Don't get me wrong. There are people who overreact, and there are people who are easily offended. There are black people who play the race card all the time. But trust me, I don't think most people are like that. And people who call out racism, I don't think they're overreacting. I think you should check first. I think you should check before you disregard and devalue their experience in front of the whole world. Because when you do that as a black person, you become the excuse that racists use to continue in their bad behavior. So all I'm saying is, it's until you've been through it, or until you understand what the person is saying, please don't be the one to call them out. I've done it in the past, and I'm sorry to the people that I did it to, but now I get it. Now I get it.